Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome back to the channel. Today's video is a continuation of my video series of interesting facts and quirks about the Pontiac Fiero. Today's video features these little guys, lug nut covers. It's one of the weird design characteristics that Pontiac did with the Fiero. And if you're new to Fieros, this is pretty important, and I'll get in that in just a minute. But believe it or not, the Fiero was not the only car of the 80s that specifically used these little guys, these little lug nut covers. So the 84 to 88 Fiero did use them. Other Pontiac cars that used them was the 84 to 2002 Firebird. I used to have an 86 Trans Am. That was my car in high school. I wish I still had it, but it got crushed and is now somebody's toaster or refrigerator. Also, the 86 to 99 Bonneville used some form of lug nut covers. And some of the foreign cars that did, the Volkswagen Jetta, the Rabbit pickup truck, and some other American cars that followed this strange design trend was the Oldsmobile Sierra, the Buick Century, the Chevrolet Celebrity, and the Pontiac 6000. So when I bought this car, some of these were missing, and as you can tell, the factory lug nuts are just not that pretty. They oxidize and they just look bad. So I got with the folks at the Fiero store, and I'm not sponsored by them at all. I just buy stuff from them because they're good folks to buy stuff from. And I got a bag of 22, because I'll probably at least lose one or two, of brand new lug nut covers. Now, if you're new to the Fiero community, this is important because you see, these just kind of screw on. You just put them on by hand and you hand tighten them. You can put a wrench on there, but you're going to end up stripping the threads if you do that. So you just put them on and you snug them up, and boy, do they make it look better. But if you're new to Fieros, you may look at that and go, okay, that's my lug nut. And you take it to your local tire shop or whatever, and they put that air wrench on it, and it just destroys this thing. And, you know, they're cheap. I think, what did these cost me? I think they're $1.20, $1.30 a piece, something like that. So when you put them on, of course, they really, really dress it up. But it is important, if you take your car, and if you finger tight it works just perfect. If you take your car to a shop that is not familiar with this little design characteristic of the Fiero, make sure that you tell them, hey, those are lug nut covers. You know, remove these by hand or you'll just destroy them. Those, little plastic threads, they'll just disintegrate. But man, do they make a difference when you put these on there. They really dress it up. My wheels are dirty. Sorry, I should have detailed the car, but it's been sitting out a little while. Been driving it around. You can see when you put all 5 of them on that it really, really makes a difference. But now the interesting thing about this, like I said, you know, they righty-tighty, lefty-loosey. If you take this to a shop, definitely let them know, hey, those are lug nut covers. Take them off by hand, or if you just have the lug nuts, then of course you can take them off and put them on. But does that not make a difference? My goodness, that just pops. It hides the oxidized factory lug nuts. So if you're new to the Fiero community, definitely something to look out for. If you need some, like I said, the fine folks at the Fiero store will hook you up. I'm not sponsored by them. I have to say that. You know, I use their stuff because they have good stuff. You know, they specialize in Fiero components, but I am not sponsored in any way. They don't pay me to say stuff. They don't give me stuff. I just use their stuff. So, you know, if you're new, definitely keep an eye on this. They're cheap, $1.20 a piece, something like that. But most tire stores now, because cars now don't use this is old style stuff. So cars now, you know, they go in, they take it off and you're good to go. And also, like I said, mine are a little dirty. To detail that area good, you'd want to move those, take them off so you could get in there and get that squared away. And interestingly enough, I noticed this when I was putting it on. So these are made in China, of course. But if you remember the old Pontiac Firebird emblem, and I don't know if it'll show up good on camera, I'll try to zoom in and see. Does that not look like just a Chinese version of the old Pontiac Firebird emblem? My Trans Am did not have the bird on the hood, but you know, some of them did. So another informative video to the Fiero owner, definitely something to keep an eye out for, because it can confuse the folks at the tire shop. So as always, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed today's video. And if you did, if you found it entertaining and or educational, please consider subscribing to the channel. Have a great day.